Each night she appeared beside me, the alien woman I couldn't resist. Whispers in the void. The first time Ren Kasai heard the singing, he dismissed it as auditory hallucinations, an expected side effect of extended isolation on Nexus Station. After 6 months alone monitoring the gravitational anomaly in the Taurus Nebula, strange perceptions were practically part of the job description. Station log day 187, he murmured, massaging his temples. Anomaly reading stable, equipment functioning within parameters. He paused, listening to the melodic humming that seemed to resonate from the very walls, and I'm officially losing my mind. Sleep didn't come easily that night. The singing intensified as the station's artificial lighting dimmed to simulate night cycle. It wasn't unpleasant, quite the opposite. The notes wove together in patterns that made his skin tingle with goosebumps, like remembering a beloved song from childhood he couldn't quite name. By morning, the sound had vanished. Ren threw himself into his work, analyzing data streams from the anomaly and sending his weekly report to Earth Command. The gravitational phenomenon had appeared 2 years ago, defying conventional physics. His assignment was simple: observe and report. No contact, no interference. They sent me because I don't ask questions, he told the empty room, a habit formed from months of solitude. Just the data, nothing more. That evening, as he sipped synthetic coffee and reviewed sensor logs, the station lights flickered. Power fluctuations weren't uncommon, but when they stabilized, something had changed. The air shimmered near the observation window, refracting light like water disturbed by a gentle touch. Hello? Ren set down his mug, heart racing. Computer, run security scan. No anomalies detected, the system responded flatly. Yet there, by the window overlooking the nebula, the air continued to ripple. As Ren watched, transfixed, the disturbance began to take form, gradually coalescing into a silhouette that glowed with a soft blue luminescence. The singing returned, louder now, emanating from the apparition. The figure turned toward him, and Ren forgot to breathe. She appeared almost human, with delicate features and eyes that shimmered like distant galaxies. Her form wasn't entirely solid, the nebulous stars visible through her translucent skin. Yet she moved with fluid grace as she regarded him with unmistakable curiosity. You hear me? She said, her voice like gentle waves against a shore. After so long, someone finally hears. Ren backed away, stumbling against his desk. What are you? I am Lyra. Her mouth didn't move exactly as a human's would, but her words resonated clearly in his mind. Your kind would call me a phantom, perhaps. A ghost. She tilted her head, studying him. But I am very much alive. That's impossible, Ren whispered. There's nothing alive in the anomaly. Our scans would have. Your instruments cannot detect what they aren't designed to find. She drifted closer, and the air around Ren grew warmer. Just as your ears weren't meant to hear our songs, yet you do. Ren's scientific training battled with the evidence before his eyes. Why now, why me? Lyra's form pulsed gently like a heartbeat made of light. The convergence grows stronger. The boundaries thin. She gestured toward the nebula outside. Soon our worlds will touch in ways not seen for millennia. I sensed your solitude across the void. It echoed my own. Before Ren could respond, alarms blared throughout the station. Lyra's form flickered anxiously. They're coming, she whispered, already fading. Do not tell them about me, Ren Kasai, please. In seconds, she had vanished, leaving Ren alone with the blaring emergency signal from Earth Command. The transmission read, Anomaly research terminated. Extraction team arriving in 72 hours. Prepare all data for military review. Ren stared at the space where Lyra had been, the lingering warmth the only evidence of her visit. Something told him that their meeting was only the beginning of a story much larger than his small observation post, and far more dangerous than he could imagine. Astral convergence. Ren spent the next day frantically reviewing his data, searching for any scientific explanation for Lyra's appearance. The extraction team would expect answers he didn't have, and mentioning encounters with luminous beings would certainly end his career, if not worse. Computer, analyze atmospheric composition for the past 24 hours, he commanded, pacing the small confines of his quarters. Composition normal. No anomalies detected. He sighed, running fingers through his disheveled hair. Of course not. As dusk approached, or what passed for dusk in the artificial day-night cycle, Ren found himself watching the observation window expectantly. The singing began as a whisper, gradually intensifying until the familiar shimmer appeared, coalescing into Lyra's form. "You're back," Ren said, relief washing over him despite his scientific skepticism. "I promised I would return." Her voice resonated with a melodic quality that made the air itself seem to vibrate. "Your people are coming. You fear them." Ren nodded. "They're shutting down the research. But that's not what worries me." He hesitated. "If they discover you, whatever you are, they'll want to study you, maybe even capture me?" Lyra drifted closer, her translucent form casting gentle blue light across the room. "Many have tried throughout the ages. Your ancestors called us sirens, spirits, angels. What are you really?" Ren asked, transfixed by the patterns of light moving beneath her skin. Lyra extended her hand, stopping just short of touching him. "We exist in the space between matter and energy. My kind evolved in the gravitational waves you've been studying. What you call an anomaly is our home." Fascinated, Ren raised his hand to mirror hers. When their fingers nearly touched, a spark of energy jumped between them. The sensation was electric, intimate, like nothing he'd ever experienced. "I feel you," he whispered, astonished. "And you." Lyra's eyes widened with wonder. "Your emotions create resonance patterns I can perceive. Your loneliness called to me across the void." That night, Lyra showed Ren her world through shared visions, vast networks of energy beings inhabiting the nebula, communicating through complex patterns of light and vibration. Their civilization existed alongside humanity's for eons, occasionally crossing paths when the boundaries between their realities thinned. "We've been watching your kind for centuries," she explained, her form drifting around the room. "Some of us remember when your ancestors first looked to the stars with wonder instead of conquest. And now?" Ren asked. "Now your military comes to study what they don't understand." Her light dimmed momentarily. "The convergence happening between our worlds is rare. It happens once every 1,000 years. This connection allows me to manifest here, with you." Before dawn, Lyra taught Ren to feel the subtle energy currents flowing through the station, invisible to human instruments but vital to her existence. Under her guidance, his fingertips began detecting the gentle pulses surrounding her form. "Tomorrow night," she promised as her form began fading with the station's simulated sunrise. "I'll show you more of who I am, who we could be together." After she vanished, Ren checked the countdown clock, 48 hours until the extraction team's arrival. Whatever was happening between him and Lyra, time was running out. Luminous embraced the third night. Ren prepared for Lyra's arrival with a mixture of scientific curiosity and something more personal he wasn't ready to name. He had disabled the station's internal sensors, a small act of rebellion against the approaching authorities. When she appeared, her luminescence seemed stronger, more defined. "You've changed something," she observed, moving around the room with newfound confidence. "I wanted privacy," Ren explained. "No recordings, no data collection. Just us." Lyra's form brightened at his words. "The convergence grows stronger. I can maintain my form longer now." She drifted toward him. "May I show you something?" At his nod, she raised her hands and the room's lighting dimmed. Suddenly, the space around them transformed, the walls seeming to dissolve as projections of the nebula surrounded them in swirling cosmic beauty. "This is how I see reality," she whispered. Ren turned in wonder, surrounded by stars and cosmic dust. "It's incredible. This is where our worlds meet." Lyra moved closer, her ethereal form pulsating gently. "I can share more if you're willing." She extended her hand, and this time Ren didn't hesitate. As their fingers connected, energy coursed through him, not painful but intense and intimate. His consciousness expanded, momentarily perceiving reality through Lyra's senses, feeling the gravitational waves, the cosmic radiation, the very fabric of space-time as a tangible, living entity. "I feel you everywhere," he gasped, overwhelmed by the connection. Lyra's form seemed to envelop him, her light merging with his silhouette. "And I feel you. Your thoughts, your emotions, your desires." The boundaries between them blurred as they shared this profound intimacy, an embrace transcending physical limitations. Ren felt her essence intertwining with his consciousness, creating patterns of light and sensation previously unimaginable. In those moments, he understood her completely, her loneliness mirroring his own, her fascination with humanity, her fear of discovery. When they finally separated, Ren collapsed into his chair, breathless and transformed. I never knew anything could feel like that. Lyra hovered before him, her form shimmering with new patterns of light. Our people once shared such connections regularly with yours before fear drove us apart. The military team, they can't find you, Ren said urgently. We need to hide you somehow. There may be no need. Lyra's expression grew serious. I've detected something your instruments haven't yet registered. The anomaly is changing, becoming unstable. She projected images of the gravitational waves, showing disruptions in their patterns. Your extraction team isn't coming to study, they're coming to destroy. They believe the anomaly threatens Earth. That's your home, Ren said, horrified. That would be genocide. Not just my home. Lyra's voice carried a new urgency. The weapon they plan to use will tear a hole in space-time. It will destroy both our worlds. Ren checked his terminal, accessing classified files he wasn't supposed to have. There it was, Operation Cauterize. A theoretical weapon designed to collapse unstable space-time anomalies. The extraction team was bringing it aboard. 24 hours, he murmured, looking at the countdown clock. That's all we have to stop them. Lyra's form pressed close to him again, her light pulsing with determination. Together, perhaps we can save both our worlds. She hesitated, then added softly, I don't want to lose this connection. I don't want to lose you. As the station's night cycle neared its end, they formulated a desperate plan, one that would require Ren to betray his mission and Lyra to risk exposure to the very humans who sought to destroy her kind. Until tonight, she whispered as her form began to fade with the simulated dawn. The impression of her touch lingered on his skin long after she had disappeared. Celestial peril. The extraction team arrived earlier than expected. Ren was awakened by the harsh sound of docking clamps engaging with the station's airlock. He barely had time to secure his modified sensor data before Commander Ellis Vega and her 3-person tactical unit boarded the station. Dr. Kasai, Vega greeted him with professional coldness. A tall woman with sharp features and calculating eyes, she wasted no time on pleasantries. We're initiating Operation Cauterize in 18 hours. You're to assist with final calibrations before evacuation. Commander, Ren began carefully, my data shows some anomalies in the gravitational waves that might warrant further study before. Your research phase is complete. Doctor, Vega interrupted, signaling her team to unload equipment cases from the transport. The decision has been made at the highest level. Ren watched as they assembled the device in the station's central chamber, a quantum resonance amplifier designed to collapse the anomaly by generating counter-frequencies to its natural vibrations. Its sleek, predatory design belied its genocidal purpose. You're making a mistake, Ren said quietly to Vega as her team worked. There's life in that anomaly, intelligent life. Vega's expression hardened. If you're experiencing psychological effects from isolation, Doctor, our medical officer can sedate you for the journey home. Throughout the day, Ren felt increasingly desperate as the countdown continued. He surreptitiously examined the weapon's schematics while pretending to assist with preparations. Its design was elegant but flawed. It couldn't distinguish between different energy patterns. It would destroy everything in its path, including the station itself. We'll move to safe distance after activation, Vega explained during the briefing. The station will be lost, but it's an acceptable sacrifice to neutralize the threat. As the artificial night cycle began, Ren tensed, knowing Lyra would attempt to appear. He had to somehow warn her away while finding a way to sabotage the weapon. He felt her presence before he saw her, a subtle vibration in the air, a familiar warmth. Moving quickly to his quarters on the pretense of gathering personal effects, Ren found Lyra's shimmering form waiting. They're here, she whispered. Her light dimmed to avoid detection. I sense their weapon. It resonates with destructive potential. It's worse than we thought, Ren explained hurriedly. They're going to sacrifice the station. We have hours, not days. Lyra's form pulsed with determination. My people have gathered. We can attempt to stabilize the convergence from our side, but we need time. I'll try to sabotage the weapon, Ren promised. But Vega's team is watching me closely. Their whispered strategy session was interrupted by a sharp knock. Dr. Kasai, came Vega's voice. Final systems check in 5 minutes. As Ren moved toward the door, Lyra's form suddenly expanded, filling the room with brilliant light. "They must understand," she said, her voice resonating with newfound power. "Let me show them." Lyra, no, but it was too late. As Vega forced the door open, Lyra's radiant form was impossible to hide. The commander froze, her hand instinctively moving to her weapon. "What the hell is this?" she demanded, eyes wide with shock. "Commander Vega," Ren stepped between them. "This is Lyra. She's a representative of the beings who inhabit the anomaly, the ones you're planning to destroy." The standoff that followed was tense, with Vega's team surrounding Lyra while she hovered defiantly, her light pulsing with emotion. To Ren's surprise, Vega ordered her team to hold fire, her scientific curiosity momentarily overriding military protocol. "You claim to be sentient?" Vega addressed Lyra directly. "We have existed alongside humanity for millennia," Lyra replied, her voice reverberating through the chamber. "The convergence you fear is a natural cycle, not a threat but an opportunity for understanding." For a moment, it seemed Vega might listen. Then alarms blared throughout the station. "Commander!" one of her team called urgently. "The weapon, it's activating on its own." Ren and Vega rushed to the central chamber to find the quantum resonance amplifier, glowing with ominous energy. Its countdown initiated without authorization. "Override it," Vega ordered. "I can't," the technician responded, fingers flying over the control panel. "Something's interfering with the command protocols." Lyra's form flickered with distress. "It's the convergence. The energy patterns are accelerating. Your weapon is responding to frequencies it was designed to destroy." Outside the station windows, the nebula swirled with increasing intensity, ribbons of light coalescing around the facility. The station groaned as gravitational forces pulled at its structure. "We have 12 minutes before critical failure," the technician announced grimly. Ren turned to Lyra, their eyes meeting in silent communication. "There's only one way," he said softly. She nodded, understanding flowing between them. "Together." Beyond the horizon, "What are you proposing?" Vega demanded as the station shuddered around them. Ren turned to face her. "Your weapon can't be deactivated, but its energy can be redirected. Lyra's people can create a channel to safely disperse it, but they need a focal point." "And that would be?" Vega asked, skepticism evident despite the crisis. "Me," Ren said simply. "I've established a connection with Lyra. I can serve as a conduit." Vega shook her head. "That's suicide, Doctor." "Perhaps not," Lyra interjected, her form pulsing with complicated emotions. "But it would require a permanent transformation. Ren would exist as neither fully human nor fully like my kind, something in between." 10 minutes remained on the weapon's countdown. The station's structural integrity alarms joined the cacophony of warnings. "Do it," Vega finally ordered, pragmatism winning over protocol. "If there's even a chance of saving my team and stopping this catastrophe, take it." What followed was a blur of frantic preparation. While Vega's team rerouted power systems according to Lyra's specifications, Ren stood at the center of the chamber, surrounded by hastily modified sensor arrays designed to amplify his connection to Lyra's realm. "This will change you forever," Lyra whispered as she hovered before him, her luminescence intensifying. "Your consciousness will expand beyond human perception. You may never return to Earth." Ren looked at her with quiet certainty. "I made my choice the moment I heard your song." With 5 minutes remaining, Lyra's form merged with his. Not the gentle blending they had shared before, but a profound fusion of energy and matter. Pain coursed through Ren as his physical form began to change, molecules resonating at new frequencies. Through their merged consciousness, Ren could perceive the gathered entities of Lyra's kind. Thousands of luminous beings forming a vast network throughout the nebula, preparing to channel the weapon's destructive energy. "Now!" Vega shouted as the countdown reached 1 minute. Ren and Lyra raised their transformed hands toward the weapon. As it released its devastating pulse, their merged being intercepted it, their body becoming a living conduit. Energy coursed through them, raw, primal power that would have annihilated worlds, redirected through the network of beings in the nebula. The station shook violently, systems failing as gravitational waves distorted space around them. Vega and her team barely managed to reach the escape pods before the observation windows shattered, exposing the chamber to the vacuum of space. Yet Ren didn't die. His transformed body adapted, suspended between states of matter and energy. Through Lyra's consciousness interwoven with his own, he experienced the nebula as a living tapestry of light and thought. The weapon's energy, dispersed safely through the network, created something unexpected, a stable bridge between realities. The convergence, rather than ending, reached a new equilibrium. 3 months later, Commander Vega stood before the Earth Defense Council presenting her findings. "The Nexus anomaly is no longer classified as a threat," she stated firmly. "We've established rudimentary communication with the entities inhabiting it, entities that have been our silent neighbors for millennia." "And Dr. Kasai?" one counselor asked. "His sacrifice is noted in your report." Vega's expression remained carefully neutral. "Dr. Kasai exists in a state our scientists are still trying to comprehend. He serves as an intermediary between our worlds, no longer fully human, but not lost to us either." What Vega didn't share was her last glimpse of Ren before evacuating the station. His form radiant with inner light, Lyra's essence intertwined with his own, both transformed yet recognizable. His final words to her had been simple: "Tell them we're just beginning to understand." In the nebula that Earth now called the Convergence Zone, Ren and Lyra explored their new shared existence. Their merged consciousness experienced reality in ways neither had imagined possible, perceiving the subtle energy flows of the universe while maintaining the emotional depth of human experience. Other beings like Lyra approached them cautiously at first, then with growing acceptance. Through Ren, they gained new understanding of humanity. Through Lyra, Ren learned the ancient histories of her kind. Sometimes in the quiet moments between stars they would separate briefly, two distinct beings sharing the same transformed space. During these moments they would reach for each other as they had in the beginning, fingers almost touching, energy arcing between them. "Do you regret it?" Lyra would ask, her consciousness gently brushing against his. And Ren would answer the only way he could, his transformed essence shimmering with certainty. Some boundaries are meant to be crossed. Together they drifted through the cosmos, neither fully matter nor energy, but something wonderfully in between, pioneers of a new kind of existence that bridged worlds once thought forever separate. Their love, impossible by all known laws of physics, became the first thread in a new tapestry connecting two civilizations that had always been neighbors, but never truly known one another, until a lonely man heard a song in the void and had the courage to answer.